She isn't who you think she is. She's who your soul is begging to meet. Carl Jung didn't just study dreams. He studied the beings that lived inside them. He believed the human mind wasn't just personal, it was ancient, a theater of archetypes, and some of the oldest, most powerful figures in this theater are female, but not the kind you write poems about. These are the ones that haunt you, the ones you meet in your obsessions, your heartbreaks, your cravings, the ones that don't just seduce you, they transform you, whether you want them to or not. And if you don't see them for what they are, you will mistake them for the women you love. You will think she broke you. But the truth is, she only revealed what was already broken. Jung called this inner force the Anima, the feminine soul within every man. Not literal woman, but the psychological feminine, emotions, intuition, receptivity, fantasy, and chaos. It is the part of you that dreams of merging, not conquering, that yearns for beauty, meaning, surrender, but if ignored, becomes a trickster, a tormentor. Because when a man fails to consciously integrate his anima, she doesn't vanish. She splits. She descends. She enters the unconscious and becomes what Jung feared most. The unconscious feminine, when not made conscious, returns as fate, and she wears the face of every woman you cannot resist. Let's make this clear. You're not obsessed with her. You're obsessed with what she awakens in you, a longing so deep it feels holy. But this longing doesn't come from love, from lack, from loss, from emotional wounds never named, much less healed. She shows up and promises to complete you, not with words, but with her eyes, her mystery, her silence, her warmth. You didn't choose her. Your wounds did. And the most tragic part? You'll chase her, not because she's real, but because you don't know who you are without the chase. There's a reason why so many men fall in love with women they barely know. It's not about her. It's about the projection. Jung warned, a man who is unconscious of his anima will project it onto a woman and mistake her for his missing soul. This is not love. This is possession. This is psychological illusion. It feels divine, but it's a trap. You'll say she's different, that you've never felt this before, that it's meant to be. But deep down, what you're feeling isn't destiny. It's intoxication. You're not being pulled toward her. You're being pulled back to every unresolved pain, every abandoned feeling, every mother wound you never faced. She is not new. She is a symbol, a mirror, a ghost. This is the dark feminine, and she isn't something you can date, love, or save. She doesn't want your flowers. She wants your ego, and she will burn it to the ground. She appears in different forms. The woman who consumes your world, your energy, your ambition. The one you can't say no to, even when she hurts you. The one who disappears but leaves you craving her return like a drug. She's not evil. She's what happens when you avoid your inner world for too long, when you let fantasy replace depth, when you want to be saved more than you want to grow. She enters your life like a lover, but stays like a curse. But here's the paradox. She's not your punishment. She's your initiation. Every man must meet her at some point. She is the guardian at the gate, the test between boyhood and true masculinity. If you run, she'll chase. If you cling, she'll vanish. If you worship her, she'll destroy you. But if you see her, not as a woman, but as a symbol of your own unconscious, then something changes. You stop chasing. You stop bleeding. You start integrating. Jung never said avoid women. He said, understand the part of you that creates illusions about them. Because until you do, you will meet the same woman over and over again, just in different bodies, with different names, speaking different lies. But the lesson is always the same. She was never here to complete you. She was here to awaken you. So who is she, really? She's not just hot. She's not just crazy. She's not just hard to get. She is Lilith, the rejected feminine banished from Eden for refusing to bow. She is Medusa, once beautiful, then cursed, and now turns men to stone with her gaze. She is Kali, the goddess of time, destruction, and rebirth. She is Eros in disguise, erotic longing as a doorway to the divine. She is everything your soul craves, but your ego fears. And if you meet her without knowing your own shadow, you'll fall. Not in love, but into yourself. This is why men repeat toxic relationships. It's not because they're fools. It's because their soul is begging them to wake up, to stop looking outside for the feminine and start listening inside to what she's trying to teach. She's not here to be understood. She's here to be faced, and through that encounter to be integrated. She doesn't scream, she whispers, she doesn't strike, she smiles, and when she wraps her arms around you, it doesn't feel like prison. It feels like home. That is her genius. Because the devouring mother never uses force. She uses love. A suffocating, possessive, conditional kind of love. The kind that feeds you with one hand and holds a dagger behind your back with the other. Jung didn't invent her. She has been with us for centuries, in myth, in story, in the wounds we don't speak of. In fairy tales, she's the witch who keeps you in the forest. In religion, she's the idol you must sacrifice your soul to. In modern life, she's the one who says, "Don't leave me. You'll fail. No one else will love you like I do. Just stay safe. Just stay here. Just stay mine." You don't notice it at first because she doesn't look like a monster. She looks like care. She smells like comfort. She sounds like concern. But over time, something inside you withers. Your fire, your will, your masculine edge. You begin to doubt your instincts. You apologize for your desires. You shrink just a little more each day until you're no longer a man. You're a boy, trapped in the arms of a love that never let you grow teeth. The devouring mother doesn't want your death. She wants your dependency. She wants you to need her, to feel guilty when you don't, to define yourself by how much you please her, even when it kills something in you. And this isn't just about literal mothers. This is an archetype, a psychological force that takes form in women, yes, but more importantly, takes root in you. You become her loyal son, her emotional husband, her good little boy. And then one day, you try to break free. It starts small. You assert yourself, you set a boundary, you say no. You begin to reclaim your edges, your instincts, your masculinity. And suddenly she turns, not loudly, not with rage, but with sadness, with silence, with withdrawal. And you feel it, the unbearable weight of guilt. You're not just disappointing her, you're betraying her. You're killing the image of the good man she built for you. And so you return, you shrink again, you soothe her, you apologize for being yourself, and the cycle continues. This is how the devouring mother wins. Not through fear, through guilt, not by hurting you, by convincing you that you are the one hurting her. It's emotional blackmail disguised as maternal sacrifice. And the more you let it happen, the more your masculinity decays. Jung saw this pattern in many men. He called it the mother complex, a psychological entanglement where the man remains forever tied to the archetype of the mother, unable to separate, to stand alone, to become whole. These men are charming, kind, emotionally attuned, but secretly filled with shame, with hesitation, with invisible chains. They don't chase power. They chase permission. They don't lead. They seek approval. They don't fight. They fold. You might think this only applies to men with overbearing moms. No, it applies to every man who has never killed the boy inside him, who has never separated from the need to be mothered, who seeks women not as partners, but as protectors, caretakers, emotional crutches. And here's the brutal truth. As long as you carry the devouring mother inside you, you will unconsciously attract women who reflect her. They will love you softly, but punish your growth. They will admire your kindness, but resent your power. They will say they want a man, but only if he still needs them, like a boy. And this isn't their fault. This is yours. Because the devouring mother only has power over men who haven't initiated themselves, who haven't confronted their inner wounds, their unconscious loyalties, their secret longing to be kept safe forever. But safety is not love. Comfort is not freedom. And motherly devotion is not intimacy. It is dependency. It is spiritual sleep. It is the end of your becoming. So what now? You must do what every mythic hero has done. Descend into the underworld, find the mother, and leave her. Not with cruelty, but with truth. You must look her in the eye, within and without, and say, "I love you, but I am not yours. I was not born to be safe. I was born to become." This is the symbolic patricide every man must commit. Not to hate your mother, but to become something she cannot protect. A sovereign, a warrior, a man with teeth. Only then can you love a woman truly. Not as a boy searching for shelter, but as a man bringing fire. But this is just the beginning, because once you've broken from the mother, you begin to crave something else. Not safety, not care, but danger, depth, ecstasy. You will meet her next. She does not feed you. She does not protect you. She devours you, not with guilt, but with desire. She is the siren, the archetype of the erotic feminine. And she doesn't want your soul. She wants your surrender. She doesn't ask for love. She demands surrender. She doesn't promise you safety. She promises you oblivion. And still, you follow her. You always do. The siren is the second face of the dark feminine. She is not mother. She is not nurturer. She is the one who awakens your deepest longing and then uses it against you. She doesn't feed your wounds. She exposes them, not to heal them, but to feast on them. She enters your life like a storm, fast, violent, beautiful. And by the time you realize what she is, it's too late. You've already tasted her mystery, and now you're starving for it. Jung didn't name her the siren. Mythology did, but the pattern is the same. In Greek myth, she was the sea creature who lured sailors with her song, not with force, not with chains, but with the unbearable beauty of what you think you want. And that's the trick. She doesn't seduce you with who she is. She seduces you with who you think she is. She becomes your fantasy. She reflects your hunger. She promises completion and whispers, "Come closer, come home." But it's not home. It's ruin. This is how she appears in real life, not as a femme fatale in a red dress, but as the woman who feels too good to be true. She knows what to say, how to touch, when to pull back, just enough to keep you chasing. She doesn't love you. She intoxicates you. She feeds off the parts of you that crave escape, from boredom, from responsibility, from yourself. And for a while, it feels like salvation, but it always ends the same way. You forget who you are. Here's what makes her so dangerous. She doesn't attack your ego. She dissolves it. She invites you into pleasure so deep, you forget your path, your discipline, your purpose. You trade mission for obsession, growth for comfort, selfhood for submission. And the worst part? You consent to it, because it feels like falling in love. But it's not love. It's psychological fusion. It's the collapse of boundaries. It's the regression into a state where you no longer think, you feel, you want, you ache. She doesn't steal your soul. You give it to her. Why do so many men fall into this trap? Because they never learned to hold their own desire. They were taught to repress it, fear it, to see lust as shameful, to see craving as weakness. So when a woman comes along who embodies that repressed desire, they're helpless. She becomes the symbol of their liberation. And they don't care about the cost. They will abandon wives, children, careers, values for one more taste of that song. But they don't realize the siren is not here to love you. She is here to show you where you are still enslaved. Jung called this the danger of projection. When a man cannot integrate the erotic aspect of his own psyche, he externalizes it. He puts it on a woman. He turns her into a goddess and himself into her worshiper. But this is not divine. It is delusion, because you're not seeing her. You're seeing your fantasy. And the moment she breaks the illusion, when she shows her humanity, her flaws, her needs, you feel betrayed, not because she lied, but because she failed to be your dream. And so you move on to the next woman, the next high, the next siren, always chasing, never arriving. But this is not her fault. It is yours, because the siren is not evil. She is unconscious feminine chaos. She is not the problem. She is the test. Can you feel desire and not be devoured by it? Can you see beauty and not become its slave? Can you love her without losing yourself? If not, you are not a man. You are a child seduced by the glittering edge of the abyss. So what's the answer? Integration, not repression, not avoidance, but integration. You must learn to carry your own erotic energy, not outsource it. You must feel your hunger without becoming it. The siren teaches you that desire is holy, but worship is death. You can enter her waters, you can dance with her flame, but only if you have a center strong enough not to dissolve. Otherwise, she will pull you under. The only way to pass her test is not to resist desire. It is to stand inside it, to say, I feel you, I want you, but I do not need you to complete me. Because only then does the siren lose her power. Only then does the projection fade. And only then can you see her, not as a goddess, not as a trap, but as a woman. Beautiful, flawed, finite. Not a symbol of your salvation, but a reflection of your maturity. Once you've passed her trial, you emerge changed, no longer intoxicated, no longer enslaved, but still hungry, not for chaos, but for something real. This is when you meet the final form of the dark feminine. She is not mother. She is not seductress. She is the mirror. She reveals not your craving, but your cowardice. She confronts not your lust, but your lack of purpose. She doesn't want your worship. She wants your truth. Her name is the Dark Muse. She does not seduce you. She does not comfort you. She doesn't even want you. She wants your truth. And if she doesn't find it, she will tear you to pieces. The dark muse is not here to feed your hunger. She's here to reveal it, to strip away the lies you tell yourself, to show you the parts of your soul you've buried beneath charm, politeness, and quiet desperation. If the siren is a mirror of your lust, the muse is a mirror of your potential, and the shame you feel for not living it. She will not punish your weakness. She will expose your refusal to confront it. Jung never used the term dark muse, but the archetype was everywhere in his work. She is the anima evolved, no longer the infantile projection of man's longing, but the raw, initiatory force that compels him to become whole or be broken. She appears as the lover who challenges your mediocrity, the woman who sees through your act, the presence that makes you uncomfortable because she sees the gap between what you are and what you could be, and she will not fill it for you. She is not gentle. She is not impressed by your success. She is not interested in your money. She does not melt at your vulnerability. She asks one question: where is your fire? And if you have none, she leaves. Not because she's cruel, but because she is here to awaken the king in you. Not mother the boy, not worship the shell, not indulge the fraud. Here's what makes her terrifying. She does not want to control you. She wants you free. But real freedom has a price: accountability, initiation, depth. And many men, especially nice guys, run the moment they feel her energy. Because she's not chaotic like the siren. She's clear, still, piercing. You can't manipulate her. You can't impress her. You can't seduce her. You can only meet her or avoid her. The dark muse appears in a man's life when he is at a crossroads. Either you stay asleep, numbed by comfort, praise, porn, and pretend partnerships, or you wake up and face the unbearable truth that no one is coming to save you, that the woman you idealized will not rescue you, that love is not a hiding place. It is a battlefield for the soul. Jung taught that a man's relationship to the feminine is a reflection of his inner world. When a man is fragmented, he either idealizes women or fears them. But when he integrates, he sees women not as saviors or threats, but as mirrors. The dark muse is that mirror, sharpened. She does not care about your image. She reflects your essence and dares you to rise to it. She says nothing, but you feel it. That ache in her presence, that pull to become more than you are, that fear that if you don't rise now, you never will. She is the final feminine archetype that Jungian men must face, because she doesn't destroy you with guilt like the devouring mother. She doesn't dissolve you with ecstasy like the siren. She destroys you with a question: why are you still small? And if you flinch, if you lie, if you make excuses, she disappears. This is the test few men pass, because facing the dark muse means confronting your cowardice, your hidden rage, your secret addiction to weakness, your lifelong avoidance of risk, pain, chaos, truth. She demands your fire, and if you have none, she will walk away with silence, and you will never forget her. Because she is not just a woman. She is the symbolic feminine that waits at the edge of every man's purpose, the one who cannot be bought, tricked, seduced, or pitied, the one who says, don't show me your mask, show me your myth. What does she want from you? Not comfort, not control, not even love. She wants your sovereignty. She wants the version of you that cannot be broken, that has walked through the fire, that has faced the mother, the siren, the shadows, and chosen to stand. Because that man, the integrated, individuated, initiated man, is the only one who can meet her without flinching. And what happens if you pass her test? You will not be rewarded with a perfect relationship. You will not be crowned. You will be ready, ready to love without illusion, to lead without pride, to serve without resentment, to be fully man, not against women, but with them, as partners, as mirrors, as sacred opposites. Jung's warning was never about avoiding the dark feminine. It was about understanding her. Every archetype, the devouring mother, the siren, the muse, lives within us all. And the only way to not be destroyed by them is to integrate them, to see their shadow, to confront your own, to die to who you were and rise as who you must become. That is the work. That is the path. That is the price of sovereignty. But there is still one more mystery. The darkest archetype of all, not a woman, not a mother, not a muse, but a void. She has no face, she speaks no words, she offers no promise, only a mirror of death, of silence, of the self unmade. She is what waits when all projections are gone. She is the shadow woman, and she is next. She is not your lover. She is not your mother. She is not your muse. She is what's left. When every illusion is dead, the shadow woman is the final face of the feminine and the darkest. She is not evil. She is truth. But not the kind you post on social media. She is the truth that undresses your soul. She is silence. She is the part of womanhood you were never meant to understand. Because it was never about understanding. It was about facing. You don't meet her in love. You meet her in endings. When your relationship dies, when the woman you worshipped leaves, when you are alone in the ashes of everything you thought defined you. She arrives when she leaves. And suddenly you are not just grieving a woman. You are grieving every part of yourself that needed her to exist. That's when you see her, not the woman who left, but the symbol inside her, the part of the feminine that was never yours to possess. The shadow woman appears not to destroy your world, but to reveal that it was never real. She doesn't ask you questions. She is the question. Who are you without your fantasy? What remains when the need for a woman disappears? Can you be whole without being desired? She doesn't haunt you, you haunt yourself. She just shows you the mirror, and in it, you see the man you've avoided becoming. Jung called this the final stage of individuation, when a man no longer seeks the feminine outside him, but recognizes her within, not as a partner, not as a prize, but as the part of his own soul he was too afraid to meet. This is not romance. This is ritual, not love, but death of the boy, the chaser, the addict. The shadow woman does not destroy men. She destroys their false selves. She is the archetype behind your patterns, the woman you can't forget, the one you never truly knew. The one who walked away and took something from you you never got back. But here's the truth. She didn't take it. She showed you it was never yours. That's why she hurts, because she didn't betray you. She exposed you. So who is she, really? She is the coldness behind your need for affection, the silence beneath your charm, the abyss beneath your desire to be chosen. She is not a woman. She is the archetypal void, the thing you projected every fantasy onto and now must take back. Because until you do, you will never see women clearly. You will see shadows, projections, dreams, and every relationship will be haunted. The shadow woman is not something to escape. She is your final teacher, the feminine that gives nothing, so you are forced to give birth to yourself. She doesn't hold you, she leaves you, and in her absence, you find the part of you that doesn't need to be held. The king, the creator, the sovereign, not dependent on love, not dependent on being wanted, but grounded, present, free. There is a moment in every initiated man's life when he realizes the woman was never the point, the pain was. Because the pain woke him up, the loss stripped him bare, the silence made him listen to the only voice that ever mattered, his own. Not the voice of ego, but the voice beneath it, the one that knows, that remembers, that waits. The self, whole, masculine and feminine, finally undivided. This is why Jung warned, if you do not make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life and you will call it fate. Most men call her fate, the one who got away, the mystery that tortured them. But she was never fate. She was a mirror, reflecting the unconscious feminine they refused to meet within themselves. So what happens when you integrate her? You don't become less masculine. You become more. Not soft, but strong in the way only truth can make you strong. No longer addicted to approval. No longer afraid of rejection. No longer seeking wholeness in a woman's eyes. Because you've found it in your own shadow. And now you can finally see women for what they are. Not goddesses, not devourers, not muses, but people. Sacred in their mystery, but no longer your prison. You can now love without chains, desire without desperation, connect without collapse. You are no longer a boy chasing mothers, no longer a man chasing sirens, no longer a hollow shell needing reflection. You are home, and the shadow woman, she fades, not because she is gone, but because she is now part of you. The mystery, the madness, the fire. It no longer lives in her, it lives in you. This is the final initiation, not into love, not into success, but into sovereignty. You do not own her, you do not need her, because you have finally faced her, and in doing so, you have become whole. So now you've seen her, all of her, the mother who smothers, the siren who tempts, the muse who, and the shadow who breaks you. You've walked the labyrinth of the feminine, but what you found was not a woman, it was yourself, your need, your fear, your longing, your shame, your refusal to become. Because the truth is, no woman has ever truly destroyed a man. Only the illusions he placed on her have. Carl Jung didn't warn men to fear women. He warned them to face their inner feminine, to stop projecting, to stop worshiping, to stop blaming. Because as long as you look for the goddess or the demon in her, you will never meet the man in you. This was never about her. It was always about you. You projected the mother when you hadn't healed the child. You chased the siren when you feared your silence. You clung to the muse when you forgot your mission. You ran from the shadow when you refused the truth. Every feminine figure was a test, a rite, a mirror. And now the mirror has cracked. What remains? Just you. Not the image, not the mask, not the boy trying to be a man, but a man who has died and lived, who has faced love and lost, faced pain and stayed, faced truth and didn't blink. That is the man who is ready to love without illusion, to lead without domination, to serve without sacrifice, to be without fear. And so the question is no longer, what do women want? The real question is, who are you when no one wants you? If you can sit in that fire and remain, then finally, you are free. This was Mindbiss. If you made it this far, you've already begun your initiation. Like, comment, subscribe, or don't. But whatever you do, don't go back to sleep.